At first glance, this seemed like a really bad idea, but when I saw the scene that I had here, I knew I had to photograph it. Let me walk you through how I worked this landscape and how I shaped the final composition. Let's begin with the moment that caught my attention. So I found this stream right here, and I can get down over here, I could get down over there, but I can see that we have one little waterfall right there, but then there isn't too much happening in the water upstream there. Instead, down here we have another one, and down here we have another one. Therefore, I'm thinking I want to stand down here, framing that one in the foreground and having this one in the background, and then we have a rock wall over there, which I really want in the background. The intention that I have right here is quite simple, really, is to capture this stream. I've hiked this trail many times before, so I knew that we had it right here, but I never photographed it from just this particular place. And I think I found actually a really nice bend right here. So let me show you. The problem we're having here is that we're on a very steep slope here, and we don't really have that much place to stand on. So placing the camera might be a bit of a problem. So if I can't get the right framing, if I have to be further out into the stream or the slope is in its way, that might make this composition very difficult to frame up. The things I really want to include here is this little waterfall. I want to include the one in the background. I want to include the rock face on the other side, the rock wall right there. And the things I don't really want to include, well, I don't really care that much about the slope that we're on. I don't want to include this thing here, so this one I can just remove, I suppose. I don't really care too much for what's up on this side right there, but I think I'm gonna frame it along this line, something here, really using the wide angle to distort this small little waterfall right here. So I'm gonna try to frame something up right around here with the tripod, and I'll catch you when I found something. The structure that I settled for right here is to have this waterfall as an anchor. The whole stream is the main element, and then we have the mossy rocks surrounding it and the rock wall in the background there as supporting structure, just framing everything in. The relationship we have here is quite obvious, really. It's the flowing water just carving its way through this small little canyon, and how it interacts with the rocks, and then the green moss really creates this Nordic mystical feeling, almost troll-like is the sensation that I'm kind of getting out of this. And the balancing here is really to allow for the flow of the water to go through the whole composition. So it's exiting down here in the bottom left, in the bottom right, but it's starting somewhere over here. We can't necessarily see the start, it's being blocked by this rock right here, but that adds to the mystery. You can imply that it's continuing up almost to the top left there, so it really flows through the whole image. And I wanted to include this bottom left part for the same reason, to balance it, to balance out the water flow with the flow on this side. As for the problem that I thought I would have with placing it, well, having a flexible tripod that has long legs and that you can spread out nicely, as you can see how I have the tripod right here. Really helps, and I had to just fiddle it back and forth in order to get it to the right place where I really wanted it. And what does it integrate into then? Well, as I said, I'm getting this really mystical feeling almost from this image, that you're inside a forest where you have spirits, where you have trolls, and all of that just coming together and creating a bit of a mystical, almost fantasy-like scene here for me. If you want to know more about how I move in the field, I've put together a complete list of the tools of composition, which is the framework that I use in fields in order to align all the elements of a scene in order to get the composition that I really intend to get. And you can download it from a link in the description below.
If you want to see a completely different kind of problem, a scene where nothing stood out at all, rather than one where I could barely stand, the previous episode is a woodland of blueberry bushes with no clear anchor in sight. Watch that one next.